think the microphone's picking me up. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Was wondering where my audio was. What am I gonna do today? I'm gonna see if I can get some progress made on this thing. All right. Let's see. Let's see about getting an eye. I think tonight is going to be all about speed. How quickly can I get some stuff laid in here? Too big. Much, much, much too big. Still too big. Almost there. All right. Have just about the right size. start adding in some of this muscle. Whoa! Crash went the camera, which was hooked around my chair. Maybe that's a little bit better. Didn't realize music was not playing. All right. Hello, Brewhouse Heart Studio. I see you've logged in as me. And you have access to the cat. You logged into me because I logged in as me on your laptop. You'll have to sign out and sign in as you. See, I did that when you were in the hospital getting your heart worked on. I logged in as me so that I could do a few things. I guess I forgot to sign out. Or neglected to sign out. It's probably more like it. The light is really yellow. Oh, no, you had to reset your password because you couldn't remember? Oh, no. Sorry. It's really hard to see what I'm working at and show you what I'm working at the same time. I'm trying to get these muscles in here in the jaw. It's mainly because this arm is up. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying this new microphone out. You blame the surgery. I'm a little quiet. If I see if I can move this a little bit closer, is that better? Can you hear me okay? Yes. Oh, good. I'm very used to a microphone being like right up here on my mouth. This microphone seems like it works out. I might have to get me one. Didn't seem like it was that much. How's the music? Is the music overpowering? Or is it about the right tone? Or right volume? You can't hear it at all. What about now? Can you hear it? Yes, no, maybe so. Only if you turn it way up, huh? How's that? Is that better? Can you hear it? Can you hear the music now? That's better? Okay. Putting in this microphone has changed a bunch of my settings. I just adjusted the volume for myself. Can you still hear the music okay? Okay, that's good. Yeah, internet delay, right? Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, I was putting in some of these muscles into the face. In the face. Which you can't see because the arm's in the way. Alright. Alright, just like that, start putting those lips in there. Need to turn myself up just a bit. Is that better? You hear me a little bit better now? Checking my volumes. Nope. Not that. Kind of difficult only doing half the face. There, drew a little line down the center of the face. Maybe that will help out a bit. Oh, focus, focus. There we go. Get that in there. Whew. It is tough. Thank you very much. It's just my little anatomy study I'm working on to, you know, get better. Hopefully. Hopefully get better. I need to figure out a better lighting solution for my little setup here. Oh yeah? That's cool. What kind of stuff would you like to sculpt? Because there's like a ton of things out there that you can sculpt. It's stuck to my thumb. I can't get it off. If you're interested in sculpting, down below I have an Amazon links that you can click on to get you like super sculpty and some tools and stuff. Get you started. Anatomy books like what I'm looking at here, I've got links to, and that's kind of what I did. I just decided one day I'm gonna start sculpting, and I just went for it. I can't get the clay to stick. There it goes. There it goes. Start to get those eyelids on here. Human figure, yeah. I know studying human anatomy really helps me out. And what I do, I animate for a living, so understanding, you know, those sorts of things, just how the body works, big help. I have a feeling I'm going to destroy this side of the face. Concept art, yeah, that's cool. I used to do a lot of illustrating back in the day. It's kind of what put me through college, is illustrating, drawing people for a living. I think my tools are a little too big for this. I keep telling myself I'm going to sculpt something bigger that's going to be easier to work with, but when I start sculpting something small, so as a concept artist, are you looking to do concept for movies, video games? Any in particular interest? Yeah, make movies, yeah. Developing a process. Yeah, it's definitely would be a lot of fun to do. I work in the game industry, so I know a lot of concept guys who cross back and forth between movies and video games. A lot of times they'll contract and do a movie here and then get a contract with the game studio and do some character designs. I'm trying to remember. There's a company. They're an outsourcing company that does concept art. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It'll come to me eventually. That's cool. I always thought if I was going to be a concept artist, I'd probably be doing characters myself. But yeah, this company that all they do is contract concept art for games and movies, and one day you get to work on some high profile game, and next day you get to work on something for a movie. Oh yeah, creating the oh hey, thank you for the follow. Probably gonna totally mispronounce your name in Visa Graphics. Did I get that right? But yeah, I don't know if you're interested in animation at all. On Wednesdays I do. Oh, I got it. Cool. I'm actually looking at a television over here, which I've tried to read off of. Sometimes it's a little difficult to read the text. But yeah, on Wednesdays I do tutorials on animation here on Twitch, and talk a lot about the game industry sometimes, but it's usually from an animation perspective. But a lot of times I'll point out problems with characters and character design. So I'll tell you some fun stories. I've told these before, so so for people who may have watched, they'll probably be like, oh, I remember that story. So when I worked at Real Effects, they were telling me a story about this Disney artist who came in, and he was supposed to design a bunch of characters for them. And this guy is he never really designed for 3D. He only ever concepted out 2D characters for movies, and he worked on Tarzan and Hercules, and just a whole bunch of Disney movies, right? So they said, hey, we need you to design some characters for, it was a project they're working on at the time. And he goes, okay. So he started designing it, and he handed in a bunch of concepts, and they look at it and they go, there's no way we can model this and animate it. He's like, what are you talking about? This is great. I'm like, oh yeah, it's great. Work is great, but it'll never translate into 3D. So he had to, so they said, here's some clay, Sculpey, kind of like what I'm working with here. Why don't you sculpt your character? And he said, okay, and so he started sculpting this character that he designed. And as he was sculpting it, he realized that it would never work. Like, just physically, that character would not work in 3D. And at that point, he got it. He's like, oh, okay, I totally get this now. And so he went back to the drawing board and he started redesigning the characters, and he was building it from with the mindset that this is going to be turned into basically a digital puppet for animators to work with. And yeah, too stylized. I mean, there's nothing wrong with stylization, right? It's just, can the character physically move? So I worked with on a game called Demonic way back in the day. And if you've ever seen the movie Grandma's Boy, the game that they play in Grandma's Boy is the Demonic game that I worked on. And we had a comic book artist come in and do a lot of the concept art for the demons and monsters that were supposed to be in that game. And again, he only ever worked in the comic book world, so he tilt this up a little bit. He only ever worked in the comic book world, so he didn't really have a concept of designing a character, these creatures that would work in 3D. So he designed these really big, comic book-esque demons with these big, huge shoulders and these itty-bitty tiny heads, these big horns that would come out to the side. And I looked at it and I go, this will never work. The guy can't turn his head without stabbing himself in the shoulder. So it was a big to-do, but the guy was really nice guy, and he's like, okay, I get it. And so he started designing some of our demons for our game with that in mind, and the design got better and they got easier to sculpt in digitally and rig and animate. It's a shame that game got canceled because it had a potential of being really cool. It was Clive Barker's Demonic with a K. Spelled with a K. But so yeah, the only place you'll ever see that is in the movie's Grandma's Boy, which the game in the movie is nothing like the game that we were designing. All right, so I got the muscles in the side of the head, the mandibula, lips, around the eye socket. Actually, I think I need to maybe redefine this a little bit more. Shape this a little bit more. Oh yeah? That's cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Definitely. Well, you said you're interested in sculpting. Definitely, even if you block out rudimentary shapes in clay, it'll give you a good idea if that character will work or not. When a digital character artist goes in and actually sculpts it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want to get into sculpting and you want to learn a bit more, down below I have links to like this book, which is what's this called? This is called Modeling the Figure in Clay, 30th Anniversary Edition. And it goes through the whole process, building from the foundation up, because I think foundation is key. If you know the foundation, you can make really good work. It's like a house, right? If you have a strong foundation, you're gonna have a strong house. Yeah. And if you order through my links, it will definitely help me out, because Amazon says, thank you for advertising. Here's a percentage. But yeah, I've got the clay, I've got armature listed down below. Some of the tools, I like these wax working tools a lot. Got some of these rubber tipped tools that I like using. They're like little fingers that get in here and can really shape inside some of the smaller areas that my fingers can't get into. But yeah, I think you could have really stylized characters, but still make them functionable. Big feet on characters was a big thing for a long time. I think it kind of came about with Gears of War. Gears of War kind of, you know, they had the big foot characters, and they're like, then everybody started doing big feet, really big feet characters. Yeah, I'd totally look at your stuff and see what you got if you have links. So one of the things that I advocate to everybody in the industry is kind of know what comes before you and kind of come in the pipeline, and kind of know what comes after you in the pipeline. If you can, if you know where whatever you're working on, if you know where your task is coming from and where it's going, it makes you stronger. For an animator like myself, I know how to build characters. I'm no expert, but I know how to build them and sculpt them in 3D. I know how to rig a little bit. I know anatomy. So when I'm handed a character or a model, I can look at it immediately and say, oh, well, the shoulders are going to break whenever he starts to move because the topology is bad. See if it lets me copy that, paste it into a web browser. Here, I'll pull this off to the side. Paste. Oh, I have to hit enter. You mind if I pull this up on the screen for everybody to see, or you want me to just keep this off to the side here? Here, I'll pull this over here. This is cool. I like this. It's nice. Yeah, this is some cool stuff. I like it. I don't think I really see anything that would really cause a lot of concern for me if I was to rig this and animate it. Maybe the shoulders. This might be a little cumbersome, but this is one of those things that it'd probably go back and forth between concept and modeling and animation. Usually it's a real collaborative effort between the different departments. But yeah, this is cool. I like this. I like the fire, or whatever this is that's coming up out of the hand. I think this guy would be a lot of fun, or this creature would be a fun to animate. Oh gosh, let me think. I mean, each one of these characters has its own unique design elements per se. I feel like just looking at her, I feel like if I was to model this, like if I was handed this as a character modeler, I'd be like, okay, this is very clear, kind of a character. All this is very clear. Then it kind of comes down to here, and it appears to be like a big solid piece of cloth or leather or something, some sort of material. I guess I would just need to know kind of how it's stitched. Usually when you do a concept, you'll concept out a character like this or like this, and then you'll have kind of like a pose where they're just kind of like more front facing. You get the front of their body, and you flush out just all the bits and pieces, all the bits and bobs that you have on their outfit, and then you'll probably do like a back view, and you can detail out everything that's on the back of the character. But I think what this gives an overall story and kind of feel for the character. So you'd probably do something like this and go, okay, here's the character that, you know, whatever this person may be, a shaman or some sort of I don't know. I'm guessing what you put into this, but and be like, all right, cool. This has a cool feel. Now let's flesh this out and do a few more designs, and where you do like full head to toe renderings of a character to kind of detail everything out. But yeah, no, this is cool. This is cool stuff. I like it. Are you going to be doing some color overlays? Adding color? Pick a palette and kind of go with it. So one of the things you could also think about when you're designing something, especially something that's mechanical, maybe not like this guy who has this like Mega Man style, you know, blaster arm, but more like this mech spider creature thing here. Lots of little elements and detail add a lot. That kind of fidelity really helps. Getting in there and refining, yeah, would be really cool. Yeah, it's very cool stuff. Thank you for sharing. I like it. Always love seeing people's artwork. I like going on Pinterest and getting inspired. All right, where was I? I was putting some muscles in the face. All right, so I already got some of these neck muscles in here. There's probably a few more I missed. Let's see. So I feel like I've spent a really long time on this anatomy study. And I really want to get it over with. I really want to be finished. And then I'm going to practice color as well. I'm going to practice coloring this in. I don't think I'm going to go with real muscle and flesh tones, but something else maybe. That's true. Adding, you could, depending on the stylization that you're going for, could ruin what you're what you're trying to achieve in your design. But you know what they say, everybody's a critic. Just because I say, hey, I'd love to see more detail, doesn't mean an art director wants to see more detail. So some things you can do if you're looking into designing characters that have more of a mechanical feel to it is go and look at machinery and see kind of how like these big machines, how the parts fit together, and referencing things like that will really help out a lot, I believe. I think the more you can pull from, for lack of a better term, pull from reality, things that are in, you know, actual things that are you can find out in the world, it'll help sell. Because, you know, some designer, some engineer has spent, you know, hours and hours trying to figure out how, you know, a bulldozer works or a crane works, and they figured out all the mechanics of these pieces. And as concept artists, we don't really have to reinvent the wheel. We can take what other people have learned and we can build on top of that. And then you figure out you look at their mechanics and you'd be like, oh, okay, this is how the parts fit together. This is how they move. This is why they move. And then you can add to it and elaborate on it and make it yours. And it'll add that sense of realism to it. I wouldn't say re-engineering. I mean, the engineering work has already been done, right? You just kind of take it and emphasize it or make it yours. I mean, you've already kind of done it. I mean, in that spider guy and in that other guy who has the round. I'm not quite sure what his arms are. Are they like barrels? That Mega Man kind of guy. Alright, I think I'm past this page. Let's get over here. But yes, if you want to do human characters or even creature characters, studying anatomy is super important. Actually, you know what? Go watch my video last week, my tutorial on horse-linked leg characters. I'm talking animation, but the principles of how a character should be designed are there, and they're important. I have dealt with creatures and monsters and aliens that are not, they're very much fantasy, and they add extra joints in the leg, and they call them reverse knee, and it's not really a reverse knee, and no matter how hard we try to make these characters work, they never look quite right. And it's because they didn't think about real animal anatomy as they were designing the stuff. And so it becomes very difficult to work with and unruly, and I kind of talk about that a little bit. And I kind of show the animation side of it, but as a concept artist and somebody who's actually designing maybe a creature that, or a demon or something that has this kind of like dog leg or a horse link leg, how to correctly design it so that it functions. Yeah, last video, like I guess if you go into my videos, or you can even click on the YouTube link down below, you can see last Wednesday's tutorial motion builder. I call it horse link leg or reverse knee or something, something along those lines. All right, this is gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to look this up or something. So I don't put a kink in my neck trying to look at this. Yeah, anything to learn. That's what I love. I love people who want to learn. I have worked with a lot of artists over the years, new and fresh in the industry, artists and animators. And you tend to have a couple different types of people. One type is a person who they love to get in, they love to learn, they love to know about everything. And they have this thirst for knowledge. And they're really great to work with. And then there's the other type of person who they think they know everything, or they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to put forth that extra bit of effort. It's kind of like, oh, I've already kind of learned this. I'm done. That's right. Sometimes it happens with age. You don't realize it. Hold on a sec. Gotta turn on a fan here. I'm getting hot. There we go. Yeah, or like I was saying, sometimes it happens with age, right? Some guys have just been doing this for so long and they're so set in their ways, it's hard for them to learn that new piece of software or learn a new way of doing things, and it ends up hurting them in the long run. I think that muscle is too skinny. Can't remember the name of this. This is that muscle that runs right down there. Lets you nod your head. Well, that's cool, man. I tell you, I work with a lot of young kids in the game industry. By young kids, to me, 25, 30 is young. But yeah, even with young kids, it's like some of them want to know and some of them don't care. See if I can get this into place. Come on, muscle, go into place. By the way, if the camera is blurry, be sure to let me know and I can can try to focus better. I use a manual focus because it really starts bugging me when the camera tries to focus in on something in the foreground and blurs what I'm trying to look at. How long have I been sculpting this? It's a good question. Because I started on it, and then I decided to start Twitch streaming. And then I stopped doing this like every night and started doing it like once a week. I think I only get to work on this about 2 to 3 hours every Sunday. I would say if I was allowed to just sculpt for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I would say I probably spent maybe 2 days, maybe two and a half days working on this to get it to this point. But then again, I haven't really timed myself in hours. There we go. Try to find the right tool for the job. So I think it is important having the right tool for the job, because you can make life so much more difficult if you try to force using the wrong tool to get the results that you want. I think is it Bezel's hammer? When your only tool is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. And I have seen people try to hammer screws into the wall. I know I've tried to hammer screws into the wall before. So I'm like, I don't feel like going and getting that tool. Then I struggle, and then I go get the tool I need, and I'm like, oh, so much easier. So much easier with the right tools. What am I using to sculpt? The clay is super Sculpty, and I use a combination of super Sculpty medium with super Sculpty firm, and you can see the links down below in my Amazon list. Just go check it out, and you can scroll down and check it and see what it is. And I just kind of blend it together until I get like something that I feel like I can work with. I think it's personal preference. Some people like the Sculpty firm because it's like super hard, and for them it's easier to work with. And some people like the medium because it's like super soft. But I don't know, the firm is too firm and the medium is too soft, so I mix it together and it works the same. When I'm done, I'll bake it, because you can bake this in the oven and it'll harden. But yeah, it'll harden, and then you can, paint it and put it up on your shelf. Or I guess you can cast and mold it if you wanted to. Alright, so he's got some more muscles that kind of come down. See if I can get these in here. This is kind of going to be a challenge. If I can... I wonder if I can just stick this in here. I think oh, the metal tool in my hand. So these are for wax sculpting. I guess people sculpt wax. Really, you can use any tool you want. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't pick something up and just use it. A lot of sculptors will make their own tools. But I've got a whole bunch of... I've just got like a whole bunch of these like wax working tools. Again, I have a link below that you can click on, take you right to Amazon, and you can see exactly what they are. I've got these like really nice rubber tipped ones, and these are like little fingers that get into little areas, real gentle. And help you render out your sculpture. But yeah, so here's one of my, you're gonna laugh. Here's one of my first little, without any sort of reference, skull that I did. I actually baked this. This is nice and hard. This is my first test. I did my first anatomy study. She's kind of fallen down on her side of her face. I didn't bake this one. I got my skull on the other side where I actually used some reference. I keep threatening to recycle this into my into my Sculpey. This is your basic super Sculpey. It's like a flesh material. A lot of sculptors like using it. You can mix other colors into it so you can get different skin tones. But it has kind of a nice translucency to it, which is kind of nice. All right, this is a challenge. See if I can do this. So there's all these little muscles inside the neck. I'm gonna try to see if I can get to them. That didn't quite work. Try this. Well, that's awesome, man. Or woman. Or person. Whatever the case may be. That's awesome. Love to see what you come up with. Man, lol. Tell you never know, right? Anonymity on the internet. It's probably hard for you to see. I'm trying to get these little... There's all these little muscles. There's all these little muscles that kind of come up. They connect to the... looks like they kind of connect to the clavicle, which is that bone that's right here. They kind of connect and they kind of run up here to the neck. Yeah, you could never tell. I think I need a head cam. I think I saw one sculptor on Twitch who has a camera like right here somewhere on his head, so wherever he's looking, camera's looking. Saw another guy who wears his camera right here on like one of those harmonica neck things. That seems to work pretty good. Because I turn it and I realize, oh, you can't see what I'm looking at. I do like these bent tools. Lets me get into tight areas from in different ways. Oh yeah, I work all the time, and I'll have stuff playing in the background, streams or things on YouTube or Netflix. When I worked on the last game I worked on was a game called Starhawk. And it's the only animator on the project, so I was constantly working like for 3 years straight. And to keep myself sane, I had Netflix playing. I had a little special little place on my screen for Netflix, and I would watch Netflix for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week sometimes. And I watched all of Law and Order one time. It took me like a month to get through it too. I didn't even see every episode. These definitely attach back there. So if you do start sculpting, I recommend going to like Goodwill and looking for a pasta maker. That's what I did. Or hold on, I got the camera setting on it actually. I got one of these pasta makers right there. And they're normally, you know, I wouldn't say they're expensive. They're not horribly expensive, but they're enough to make me go, do I really want to buy this on Amazon? So I went to Goodwill because I figure I wonder if Goodwill has anything I need. And they happen to have one. and I absolutely love it. Like when I do, if I want to do fabric and cloth, I can press a nice thin layer of clay, and you can like sandwich it with actual material, so it presses in the texture of the material. And yeah, then you can like take it and you can like drape it around. If you go to my website, which is I have links down below to my website, you can look at my sculpting page, and I did this like Celtic kind of old man, and it has all this like draped kilt and a tartan that he's wearing, and it came out pretty decent, you know. So, oh, by the way, so as a designer, something to think about is materials. Like, what are all the different materials that are on this character? Is it leather? Is it fabric? Are there lots of little shiny bits? Are you able to see what I'm doing up here okay? It's kind of hard for me to tell on my monitor if it's not blurry or not. Or if it is blurry or not. Yes. That's cool. It's getting there. It is getting there. So I have a whole bunch of these soft rubber sculpting tools. Oh, here we go. I also got some of these. I got these from Michael's. These are same thing but much softer. The ones I got from the from Amazon. Definitely really good for getting into some of the really tight spots. So one of the things I've noticed coming from a background of illustration and starting sculpting is a lot of times I will draw the shape out with my sculpting tool. I just kind of like, as if I'm using a pencil or something, I'm just kind of creating the shape. It seems to work. It seems to work okay. It's got this muscle, that muscle. Look at that muscle. It's down there, but you can't see it. We got 1, 2, 3. I've got 1, 2, and 3. All right, yeah. Oh yeah. I think when you're working really big, it's a lot easier to use your hands, but at some point to get in there and get all the little detail, there's only there's only so much fine detail my finger can get. I'll need something more like this to get in there. There's a out in Vegas, like Vegas, Nevada, obviously. There's a school out there that teaches sculpting, and they're like amazing, and they're really expensive. And I wish I had the time and the money to go. Maybe one day. But they're like movie guys. They've worked in the movie industry and alright, see if I can come around here and see if you all can see what I'm seeing. So we get this focused. Trying to get these muscles that are right back here. All right. Alright, I think I got enough of the muscle. I can always go back and refine that later. Looks like I missed a few muscles though in the face. Let's see. Yeah, I missed a couple. Then I'm going to do half of a nose. Oh yeah, jaw filled with muscles. Yeah, I'm getting there, I think. I got to... part of this anatomy study that I'm doing is learning how the muscles layer on top of each other. Because what you start to learn is how the muscles work, what they're pulling on, how they kind of work together in groups. So I'm, like I said, I'm following this book as my guide. It's kind of my own personal class. I feel like it is something that you would learn if you're taking a sculpting class in college. According to that one class that I was talking about earlier, one that's in Vegas, they do this. They teach you all about how this stuff works together. Looks like the dogs are joining me tonight. Mm-hmm. There we go. Whoa. The girlfriend is going to bed. My girlfriend just finished having a heart surgery, so I have been helping take care of her as she recovers. It was nothing like super serious, but you know, there is a recovery period. Cool, dude. Catch you next Sunday, hopefully, or Wednesday, if you're able to make it to that stream. See ya. You have a good night. This guy's starting to look like the Swamp Thing a little bit. Nose. How am I going to do this nose? Because I only want to do half a nose. Half a nose. If I sculpt a nose and then cut it in half, maybe that will work. I think I need to fill in the nose cavity though, half of the nose cavity. Let's see. Try to stick you in right there. If you would just attach. Dang it. Alright, it's getting there. I kind of messed up my muscle that I put in there. I think I need to start looking for a better selection of music. And then there was one. Let's see, it is getting close to 11. I think I might wrap this up tonight for now. Where are we at? What did I do tonight? So tonight I started laying in muscles in the face. Just started laying in some of those muscles in the neck, figuring out how they work. It is definitely a challenge only doing one half of the face. So anyway, let's see here. All right. And transition. Well, I want to say thank you very much, everybody, for joining me tonight, and I hope you all have a good night and catch Catch me Wednesday for my animation tutorial, and hope to see you again next Sunday for some more sculpting.